Loveline is meant for an adult audience. Loveline may contain sexually oriented content. Good night. Listener discretion is advised. What did that guy say? I don't know. That music was ripping, though. The phone number for Loveline is 1-800-LOVE-191. That's 1-800-LOVE-191. And now, it's Loveline with your host, Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew.
Yes, indeed. Loveline. Phone number for Loveline, 1-800-LOVE-191. Fax number 310-854-4455. I'm Adam Carolla. That'd be Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew, board-certified physician. Addiction
Oh, boy, you're out. You're done.
Would you shut up?
Good night.
Shut Drew's mic, would you? Addiction medicine specialist. That is Dr. Drew, and you are stone confused teenagers. So you may call us in and ask us questions tonight. And our guest will be John Tesh, who is the second nicest guy in showbiz beside Dr. Drew, who is now the first nicest guy in showbiz.
He just feels guilty for having attacked me right out of the block.
No, but everyone loves Drew. It's good cop, bad host is basically our gig, and on the bad one. But John, we appreciate you coming back. I want to, I know you'd like to speak at some point during the show, but I just want to retell the story and tell everybody what a stand-up guy John Tesh is. We were at NAPP like 2 years ago. I think I ran. Is it NAPP?
NAPP.
NAPP? Some TV convention.
But somebody always goes napped tea.
Right.
You know, so it's
the National Alliance for
Television producers and executives, right? Television production executives. Right?
Anyway, I was there.
P is for pimp, actually.
Rubbing cream on my ass because I'd been sodomized so many times. Drew had his ass in a bucket of ice water, and John Tesh happened by with the usual couple of hookers on each arm. And I said, "Excuse me, Mr. Tesh," he'd never seen me or heard of me before. "How about coming out to L.A., or when you're out in L.A., doing our little radio show?" And just a couple weeks later, John was in here. That is a stand-up guy.
It's actually his son that course.
That's right, yeah. It's the same reason I'm in here now. Gib told me that you guys were asking for me, so.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We never forget a talent, John. And John's...
May I say though before you continue, you guys look beaten.
Thank you.
Really, I've been traveling around a lot, and I see you when I'm in hotel rooms. I see you on MTV,
right?
And I hear you every single night. And then a couple of years ago, it was like you guys were like full of it. I mean, you were like effervescent, I think is probably the word.
Yeah.
And now could you give me a cup of coffee? And you were on the phone. I was overhearing you giving somebody heck.
Yelling at my manager's office.
Yeah, because you were throwing a tantrum, and then
there was no sweet and low in the goddamn dressing room.
And then Dr. Drew said what did he say? Oh, he said there's going to be some conflict, so he won't be able to do this show. So you guys you're pretty much ET in the 10th year, is what it is.
Yeah, we're pretty frayed, but that's all right. I'm better when I'm punchy. Drew is just punchy, tired, and
I'm just tired.
Just tired. All right. So
well, congratulations on your success.
Well, thank
you. Now you
you.
can just talk for the next 2 hours.
And I'd like to say the same to you, John. When you were with Entertainment Tonight for how many years was
10.
it?
Wow.
10 years.
That's incredible.
And you left, was it 2 or 3 years ago now?
It'll be 2 years in June, yeah.
And everyone said he's a fool, just like the same people that said that when Pia Zadora went out. Now, you may laugh, but there's some parallels here.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Pia Zadora, for people who don't, she was like this little sex kitten who married this really rich Arab dude who basically funded everything.
Right.
And it's really the same thing John has. No, John doesn't have that going. But they laughed at Pia when she said, "I want to sing, and I want to do like a Broadway-type review."
Right.
And they all said, "This is never going to work." And everyone laughed heartily at her for a number of years. But then she started getting critical acclaim, and she started winning a few awards, and now no one's heard of her. But that's not where you're going, John.
He is Adora. That's great.
The point is John was scoffed at when he left Entertainment Tonight. There was a lot of naysayers.
I thought that was more like a champion going out when you're still on top.
Like Marciano.
That's smart.
I do too, but people said, "Oh, he's going to go off and
tonight
play."
Is my last night.
Good, because I had Dr. Dean Adele in the closet just waiting to be thought. The point is John left this good gig, 10 years at the helm. He went off to do his own thing. There were some naysayers, but it's been a couple of years. It's been 3 gold records later, and look who's laughing now.
There you go.
You're supposed to laugh. That's good.
Hey, has life changed for you guys since people know what you look like now?
No.
No,
Really?
not at all.
No.
We've had no weird stories, no...
because I think if we change or our lives change, what we do is not worthwhile anymore.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause we just do what we do. We're just
But you know, sometimes when radio personalities, when they go on television, it scares people. You guys actually look like what you sound like, which is nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, in your case, that's really not a compliment.
Oh, please. You look like
you
hell,
noticed his
too.
voice. You noticed that.
Come on.
But I'm very happy for you because I think a show like this is an important show. I don't mean to sound like, you know, I'm doing an infomercial for you, but
we think we have two separate audiences. We have a radio audience and a TV audience.
Right, yeah,
And they don't overlap a lot.
your guests on the TV audience look a little uncomfortable at times because they're really afraid of what's going to happen. I think I would look the same way, which is why I'm here on the radio program.
Right, and you look very comfortable
Thank you.
tonight. Hats on backwards. He's got 3 days worth of growth, and he smells like someone poured a bong on him before
That's
he
you.
came in. Oh, that was me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We wash that off. Will you take a shower before we leave tomorrow, by the way?
Yeah, I will.
Right.
No, I won't. Screw you.
Now, you guys are now a rock band. You do this show live in concert, is what I understand.
Right. We
That's
have
pretty
the
cool.
Loveline stage show as well.
Do you have dancing, or do you make a statement? Or
Yeah, we're like the Tubes were back in
Remember
Frisco.
the Fee Waybill.
Yeah, in the,
There you go.
like mid to late 70s. Drew drops his pants and puts it on like a skillet and runs around the stage. No, we don't do anything. We actually sit down the entire time.
sit down.
And people ask you questions.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I now have it my contract where I'm wheeled out like an elderly person in an airport. I actually get wheeled out and then just dumped onto the sofa.
What is it called, the live show?
It's-
Loveline Live?
It's called Way Too Much for Way Too Little. What is it called, Drew? Do we have it?
Whatever the particular institution decides to call it.
And you're in Nashville when? Tomorrow night?
Yes. And
And we're still here in Los Angeles now.
right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You got a
Oh,
big
we're going to
trip
suck.
going.
Oh, we'll suck. Let me see how mad I am. Drew and I are going to start arguing over geographic locations on the
yeah,
plane.
and
That's our favorite.
flight time, how
There's
long
no direct flight to Nashville, is there?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Do they fly you first class?
No.
No.
Who's
No.
they? Is that? Do they own? I mean, I'm asking too many questions.
No, go ahead.
Does the company own you guys in the
Yes.
live show as well?
No.
Well,
Because really what we're doing
it's
is
like the
just
McCarthy hearings, isn't it?
ourselves just answering questions.
Oh, okay.
Like we're going to do now. Kelly,
Yeah, hi.
you're 15.
Yeah.
You were 5? No, you were zygote when John Tesh first started on Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, Kelly, what's up?
Okay, well, when I was 5 and I went to the daycare, and there's this kid who was a year older than me, and his mom was a daycare lady, and we'd I don't know, I'd give him head and he'd eat me out,
And
every day.
he was 6 and you were 5.
Yeah.
How did that start?
I think it just kind of started out as house.
At his house?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Like, he
as
started playing
playing
house.
house.
Like,
And where were the teachers or the supervisors during this?
Well, his mom she had so many kids, she didn't pay attention.
Oh, wow. You mean she had a bunch of kids in the daycare?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. This is a red alert, ladies and gentlemen, if your kids are in daycare. Oh, think about that.
Well, what do you do with them? Chain them to the radiator? I mean, you got to drop them off somewhere,
I
right?
understand that, but you got to be in an environment where there are enough adults to supervise constantly. I mean, they should be all over the kids constantly.
All right,
That's the
so
kind of
this-
thing- I would suspect that the little boy had been sexually abused by an adult. If we don't think that had happened to you before this,
Well,
right?
but then the thing is, this is my other question, is when I was 7 up until I was about 9, my cousin, who's also a girl,
Would abuse you?
no, well, I was older than her.
So you did stuff to her?
Well, yeah, I'm guessing so.
Yeah, and that's
People are just, I swear, half our callers start their sexual life about 6, 7 years old, and by the time they're 17, they're like a little burnt out on it. Whereas I've not even seen a breast by 17, unless I was at the Colonel's
Yeah,
place.
and Kelly, what you did is act out on young kids the way the little boy acted out on you. And any child that is overtly sexualized before the age of 12, particularly if they are engaging in some sort of sexual activity, will then turn around and do that to their peers. And they really don't understand what they're doing. It doesn't fit with their biology at the time.
So what's going on with you now, Kelly?
Not much.
Well, do you have any problems now?
Oh,
Okay, well, I thought I'd ask. What's that?
Just my parents.
What are they doing?
Well, just, I don't know, because, like, I've come home drunk before, and they're threatening to send me to counseling and stuff.
What happens at 15 then is then she becomes, starts to enter puberty, and the possibility of resolving those old traumas of childhood dissipates, goes away. Now you're no longer the child anymore. Now you're becoming an adult, and you can no longer contain or retain the fantasy that you're going to be able to solve these old problems, these old traumas, and it becomes devastating. Adolescents really start acting
All
like
right,
that.
I'm going to, I usually attempt to kill myself by 10:30.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it tonight at 10:15.
All right.
All right, and set a new record.
So,
So
Kelly-
what do you want to do?
Kelly, anything we can do to help you tonight,
No, I
specifically?
was just wondering if it was, like, I wasn't sure if it was me who was sexually molested or him.
I think you were by the young boy. I suspect that's where it all started, okay?
All right,
All right,
thank you.
Kelly, good luck.
All right, get some counseling, would you, Kelly?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No,
okay,
not
please.
yeah, sure. It's for your own
She said
good.
she was in counseling.
Their parents were going to make her
my
go.
parents were threatening to
No, Kelly, this is to...
That's not a
this-
threat. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's to help you feel good about yourself and go forward and have good relationships and have a decent life. If you have all those demons lurking around in the past, they will affect you. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, I think we've helped her. Oh, boy. Drew goes nuts because he's got those triplets. And every caller, especially the females, they just sort of, I know he pictures his kids' faces on these callers.
John's got a 3.5-year-old.
Yeah, I saw something on the news recently where they...
Is it boy or girl?
Girl, yeah, Prima.
Set him up with one of Drew's 5-year-olds in about 10 years and have, like, an Aryan
We have
race.
firearms at our house.
Drew has a moat. Are you kidding?
Well,
Hot oil we pour over the
I
side.
saw this thing where people were, they put their kids in daycare, right? And they're concerned about what's going on there. Obviously, we just heard a little bit about that. So what the daycare center did was they put, a wide-angle camera, a camera with a wide-angle lens on, and they put it up on the net. So, and they gave them a website address, the parents, and the parents can dial it up while they're at their house.
Oh, that's cool.
And, you don't see it in it's not fast, in real motion, but you get a shot like every 10 seconds. Or
It's,
so. Just see what's going on.
eventually, slowly but surely, technology is catching up to molestation and pedophilia.
No,
Slowly.
no.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
Just what John said there.
it's catching up, but I don't think it's having an impact. I guess,
Why
as
not?
you say, people that are into that stuff, I mean...
Yeah, evil will find a way, unfortunately.
Yes.
It's going to be the name of John's next CD. By the way, you'll see the edgier side of John Tesh.
Adam Kroll, The Life Story. Evil will find a way.
All right, shut Drew's mic off. Would you? It's been on long enough. Brian, you're 24.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey.
My question is for Dr. Drew.
His mic's off.
I'll handle it, Brian. Go ahead.
Well, actually, I've been listening to you guys for a long time, and I'm pretty nervous right now.
All right. Shall we put you on hold?
No, that's okay.
All right, ask your question.
All right. My question was about the treatment of post-hallucinogenic perceptual disorder. I wanted to ask Drew if he could...
All right. Go ahead, turn his mic
You have a
on.
conscience, thank you. Okay, and you heard me talking about that, or you actually were formally diagnosed with that?
Actually, I've only heard you speak of it, and
It's not a widely known syndrome. There's a guy named David Smith up at the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic that actually coined the term.
What is it again?
The post-hallucinogenic perceptual disorder. People sometimes, after they use hallucinogens, particularly LSD, acid, after a big dose or after just a random dose, they'll suddenly get kind of locked in, where they never really come down. They always feel like they're in this sort of detached, dreamlike state, and they keep expecting to come down. They don't, and then they're not high anymore, but they're still in this detached state. They start getting anxious and depressed, start having panic attacks. Pretty unpleasant.
Is that what you got going on, Brian?
Well, yeah, I do, and the thing of it is I've had a lot of treatment, and
How much acid did you do?
it was just I just smoked some pot, and
Really?
yeah, I don't know if there was anything in it or not.
See, back in the day, we just called Brian a lightweight.
But interestingly, this is the second call we've had in the last week
Yeah.
about pot causing this. And pot is an hallucinogenic technically, and I'm not aware of this syndrome with pot personally.
Well,
I've not seen it.
You never know what's in the pot. though.
That and it's hallucinogenic. If you take enough of it, theoretically this could happen, I suppose. What's up?
Could you tell me what kind of treatment there is for it? And,
What kind of treatment have you been in?
Well, antidepressant medicines are typically what I use.
would that be a good...
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't know if there was something specifically for that, or...
Well, there's debate about it. My my experience has been that the anti-panic type serotonin reuptake inhibitors like Paxil have been effective. Paxil, and some people are saying the older tricyclic antidepressants.
Would there be a number or anybody in particular?
I would call the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic. That's in San Francisco. David Smith is director up there, and that's where they know the most about this. Okay?
Sure, appreciate it.
All right.
Oh, boy. See, some guys, after pot, I mean, we've heard of it after guys doing acid. They do it once, and then they somehow, it's like, I don't know, it's like some jukebox that got kicked too hard, and it's always skips.
Yeah, it's because the
never right again.
machinery's off.
But
Not because the jukebox thinking is off. It's because the.
But how?
The amazing thing to me, I'm sorry. The amazing thing to me is that we look hard at the orange juice container to see when it's expired, but it's okay to just go ahead and smoke a joint and not worry about what they sprayed it with or what's in the acid. You know what I mean?
Right. You got a story?
I'm not sure. No. I'm not sure.
You freak out at
I'm
Red
not
Rock
sure
or
what
something?
I'm not sure what I'm saying, but it just seems like, you know. I mean, I grew up in this a little earlier than you did.
Oh, you better be older than me.
But nobody was spraying anything with anything.
Well, you know, I was just watching this thing on 2020 Friday night, because after TGIF, you know, Sabrina the Teenage Witch,
Yes.
and all these other kiddie shows, after I'm done having myself to those, I like to unwind with a little hard-hitting news. And they reran this piece on the rave. And there's these guys, you know, they're handing out the Special K,
GHB,
and the GHB and all this stuff. And it's just some of the scariest looking dudes you've ever seen in your life, driving some of the scariest looking vans you've ever seen in your life. And they're basically just selling you this crap at $5 a pop. Mm-hmm. And for all you know, the guy's pissing in a thing of baking soda and then forming it into balls and selling it to you.
Let's be clear here. That would be less harmful to you than the drug you're trying to get.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
But it wouldn't be worth $5.
No,
and I think that's my point, Drew.
Okay, right.
Dawson,
Yeah.
you're 16.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you're on with John Tesh.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. I'm dating an older guy, and he's pressuring me to have sex.
How old is he?
He's 47.
You, 16, Dawson, are dating a 47-year-old.
Yeah.
Is he in any sort of position of authority over you? Teacher, doctor, something like that? Cool.
No, just I met him.
How'd you meet him?
From my friend.
Your friend who's 16?
Like one of my sister's friends.
Is he married? Is he married?
Well, his wife died of liver failure just a few years ago, so he's a widower, I'm sure, at 47. And how... You've had many dates with him?
Yeah.
Like, where do you go?
Where do I go?
Yeah, where's a 47-year-old guy take a 16-year-old?
Without getting arrested.
Like movies, I don't know.
And how many dates you been on?
Quite a few.
Well, let me ask this. What do you want from us? Because we're going to tell you to have this guy arrested, basically. I mean, this guy is not your friend. I know it seems that way, and I'm sure it's flattering, and I'm sure it gratifies something you're looking for. This is not a good person. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Well, so what do you want from us, Dawson?
Well, I want advice on how to, like, tell him I don't want to have sex and, like...
Tell him you'll have him arrested if he continues.
You got to yell it right into his horn. Please, 47 years old.
What do your friends think? What do your friends think of the relationship?
Well, some of them don't know, but the ones that do know are really mad.
And the ones that don't know, you haven't told yet, right?
No.
Yeah.
Why do you think they're mad?
Well, probably because of the age difference.
But why do you think they'd be upset about it? I mean, why would it make them mad?
Well, probably that I'm going to get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, they're mad at this guy for taking advantage of you.
Where are your folks, Dawson?
They're divorced.
Can you imagine a 47-year-old guy showing up at the door? Your kid's in the 10th grade. He's, reeking of high karate, and he has like a Dodge Charger that's still running out in the driveway, and he's got like a members-only jacket with the collar up, and he's wearing like a pork pie hat, and he's saying stuff like, "Hey, toots, 22 skidoo." Dawson. All right, you're calling us because you know it's wrong. We're here to verify it's wrong. John Tesh, who plays the piano and was on Entertainment Tonight, knows it's wrong.
And as far as the physical relationship goes, he will be overtly breaking the law, and you let him know that you would not have any problem.
But see, he's like friends with my dad, too. So
Well,
like,
all the more reason that, listen, don't believe any of his BS. If you blow the whistle, he's the one in jeopardy, not you.
All
You
right.
are not going to get any trouble.
Here would be my policy once I'm in power. And I would immediately appoint John Tesh the Minister of Light Entertainment. Not the hard-edged stuff, but when you're having a nice ball or dance or something, and you don't want to offend any of the dignitaries.
I'm your guy.
John is my man. First thing I do is, here's my policy. Anytime there is there's an age difference, like someone's under 18 and someone's over 18, I give an extra year in prison for every year that they are past 10 years.
2 years.
2 years for
Yeah,
every year
sure.
past 10? So if the woman is 16 and the guy is 30, you're saying that's 8 years?
There you go.
Okay, so in Dawson's case, her boyfriend would be in prison until...
32 years, something like that, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Good math. Thank you, Drew.
22 years.
Okay, we're going to go to break. Dr. Drew is going to get the abacus out and figure that out. I'm going to drink more coffee, and John Tesh is going to read his Country Weekly magazine, which I don't necessarily approve of, but the guy's an innovator, and he's looking for a new angle. You going to start doing country stuff, John?
I don't know why I bought this. Maybe I'll know in 2 hours. I have no idea. I was at the newsstand, and it looked cool.
I think Leanne Rimes is in a thong back somewhere toward the middle, so I'm going to look for that. And we'll be back. Hey, Loveline is the name of the show. I'm Adam Carolla. That is Dr. Drew. Phone number, 1-800-LFEE-191. John Tesh is here tonight. John's got himself a, I'm going to say new CD out. Grand Passion is the name of it. It's basically you playing the piano and then you and James Ingram hooking up on 2 songs?
On one song with him, yeah.
And there's another vocal song.
Right.
Do you do any singing?
I'm a bad singer.
Really? You
Yeah,
got a good voice.
Thank you, but I'm not a good. I mean, you know, you have to. It has to be trained. And
Weren't you singing at the beginning of your
this
thing?
No. I've sung like demos of my songs before, you know, but people run screaming usually. And, it's James is he's won 3 Grammys, been nominated for 17. He's won a couple Oscars. You know, he is the singer.
Right.
He's
And how'd you hook up
singer.
with James?
I called him up. You know, I'm a big fan of his. That's one of the beauties of being on Entertainment Tonight is that you actually do meet these people.
Right.
I called him up and said, would you be interested in getting together and working on a song together? And he said, yeah. I came into the studio, and I had been working on this song with another friend of mine, and it just kept evolving, and it ended up being this very overt love song. You know, Give Me Forever, in parentheses, I Do.
Did you do the lyrics as well?
I collaborated on the lyrics, and the music. So it's, what happens is sometimes you get a song like that and it gets started, and then the singer will come in and say, why don't we change this or change that, and then the writing process
Could you
continues.
kick Yanni's ass?
Yanni and I are friends, actually.
No.
I haven't talked to him
You
in a
could
while.
kill him, though.
Yeah, well,
You could crush Yanni.
we were going to schedule like a mud wrestling thing.
Yeah. No, John's a big guy. John's got to be 6'3", maybe
You're taller than that, aren't
6'4".
you?
6'6", yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Holy
I
mackerel.
may be shrinking, you never know.
And broad-shouldered and narrow at the
Wow,
hip. And everyone knows you don't
gee.
give no lip to Big John.
Oh.
There's one to cover. Big John.
You probably reported this, but they're changing the whole Barbie thing.
Yes.
Speaking
We
of-
haven't talked about that, but they are
I
changing
was
Barbie's shape.
with Barbie and my daughter today for most of the day. Took a couple of Barbies. Because there's 700 different Barbies.
Yes, I was in a FAO Schwartz Barbie section today myself.
Unbelievable.
You ever been there?
I was too.
It plays Barbie music.
I was
Barbie
thrown out of the place.
Oh,
Yeah.
what were you doing
I
there?
was trying to
could
run
just
with my
imagine.
pants around my
Yes,
ankles,
I
and
bet.
they deemed that dangerous. So
Anyway, they've changed the whole thing. The hips are now, I haven't seen one of the new ones, but the hips are now wider and the chest is smaller. It's more realistic.
It doesn't look more realistic, though. It looks more bizarre. I
haven't seen the new
I mean, the
ones.
hips, it's like the hip insertions are way up around her hip.
Well, because they had to phone Taiwan and slap that on last minute. That's why the mold wasn't set that way. Yeah, it's birthing Barbie. It's
He's good drawing now.
This is what it sort of looks like.
yeah.
These are her legs.
Listen, can't women have goals? That to me is what this is saying, that we have to rob teenage and adolescent girls of having goals. I think the goals of all women should have large chests and very tight, streamlined bottom. Now, what is wrong with that? And by the way, what about all the guys that are playing with these action figures, these Conan the Barbarian or whatever the hell they got running now?
That's encouraging steroid use.
Oh, these guys are ridiculous. Yeah. They have waists the size of a reed and the huge guns on these guys.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Picture yourself some 9, 10-year-old little spindly kid with barely any genitalia and arms like twigs. I mean, ready to kill yourself. What about us guys? I think they ought to come up with a doll that has like a big hairy ass, a very small penis, double chin, and very spindly arms, so that guys can now feel good about themselves. All right.
What would we call that?
We call it the Adam doll. Oh, the Engineer Mike doll. Thank you, Mike. I was going to say that, but I thought you'd get pissed. Yeah.
The Adam Carolla action figure.
We have to work out the gassy part, but I think with today's technology, that could be worked
Kiss my ass, Adam.
Hey, is that Fiona Apple?
Yeah.
All right. God bless her. Zach.
Yeah.
You're 16.
Yeah.
You're talking to, really, Fiona Apple, if Fiona was 6'6", played the piano.
You had Fiona Apple in here?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
All right.
That was very nice.
She loves me. She gave me a big hug.
She hates Adam.
Oh, come on.
We run across. We run across her all the time, though.
Yeah.
Whenever we are traveling.
She was under my bed last week when I was looking for something.
Kiss my ass, Adam.
All right. Zach?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
All right. I've been in a relationship since 8th grade with this girl that I'd grown pretty close to, and all of a sudden things have gone down the tubes. And
Why?
I don't know. It's just, all of a sudden the feelings have gone...
Your feelings?
Just gone away.
Your feelings?
Yeah.
Okay. Which is really quite normal for this, age appropriate, let's say.
Yeah. But the thing is, she's had suicidal tendencies in the past, and she said before, multiple times that if, anything ever happened and we weren't together, that she'd kill herself.
She ever had an eating disorder?
I think she has, yeah.
Yeah, I just get that whole feel where she is so dependent on other people that she just clings and fuses with you and can't let go.
Now, by the way, Drew, you've ruined the entire Olympics for me, because every time I turn on the female skating events or any event involving females and they show some home footage that their mom took down at the lake when they're 3.5 doing some kind of half camel maneuver, I think, eating disorder, over domineering mother, abuse in the home. It ruins it.
But listen, this is to bring a little my own personal thing into this. My daughter loves ice skating. And she missed the sign-ups for the group class, so now she's going to start private lessons. If you don't think that scares me.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I covered skating for CBS Sports for 6 years.
Oh, that's right.
It's a dangerous...
I don't want... It's a frightening, hugely competitive. I don't want her getting into it. If she likes it, great. Good, go on. But we're not going to...
You're going to need 3 of these shows to pay for the ice time, too, pal. It's just like...
Right. And you got to buy a Zamboni these days.
A piano lesson.
You bring your own to the rink. All right, so Zach, you want to break up. You're done with the relationship.
You're going to have to be very supportive, but very firm. Okay. Now, fortunately, you're clear on what your feelings are, and don't talk yourself into believing that you have some feelings rejuvenated somehow by her declarations of love. She can't manage loss of a love object. Did her dad die or something at a young age? Anything like that ever happened to her?
No, she's... her family life has been real.
Of course, of course.
Well, it would have been better if Dad had bought it when she was 1.
There's an easier explanation than just having a sick family.
Yeah, he's been like non-existent.
All right.
Drinking binge.
All right. But you've got to be firm. You've got to be supportive. But you've got to get out and get her whatever professional help is necessary to keep her safe. Don't take her threats lightly. I'm sure they're very serious. But they're not.
Don't freak the kid.
But not your responsibility. Not his responsibility. He needs to make sure she gets care from somebody else, not him.
But you're telling him to run from this relationship?
Not run. I'm telling him to. He is intending to leave. You can't. He's outgrown it. He doesn't have any more feelings. That's not going to come back. And he needs to trust that, believe that, and find a way out in such a way that he keeps her safe and transitions her into some care, so he can continue to move away without harming her.
John, were you always good looking and had lots of chicks?
I was.
And don't give me that awkward teenage crap.
I really was. In junior high school, I was like this height, 6'6".
Thank God nobody ever has to ask me that question since all my pictures are on the internet.
Yeah. You got to see. Sherry or Lisa, bring in Drew's high school or junior high shot for John to get a gander at. This is a good laugh.
Yeah, I was this height, and I weighed about 150 pounds. So it was,
so you're a little spindly, but you grew into it. And by the time you're in high school, though, you're in full swing.
College, probably.
I mean, college, pardon. That's true. Look at him with the Glenn Campbell look over here.
Unbelievable. Are these both you?
Yes.
Wow.
Through 3 years.
You're like happening.
And that's just 3 weeks apart. It changes look completely.
3 years
I can see why you can talk intelligently about the hallucinogens, though. Look at that. Look at his eyes.
Well, here's the sad part. He wasn't even on drugs.
No, I wasn't.
I mean, you had an excuse for your high school pictures, John.
I used to have one of these shirts, by the way. It's like a country shirt.
Yeah, those are
country
cool.
music shirt, yeah.
Yeah, it snaps up. It
Yes,
doesn't button
that's
up.
right.
Oh, look at
How old were you? This junior high?
No, 17, I think.
17. Oh, you're hip.
14.
You were very hip.
Look at that. Talk about confused, though. Look at those eyes. Look at this man. He's broken. He's broken at 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Whoa,
Look at you and that hair.
You're so like Jodie Foster in Taxi Driver. That's cool.
Christy,
Hi.
you're 24.
I am.
You're on with John Tesh and the ghost of Drew Pass.
I think all three of you guys are so wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
I think that all you guys are great. And John Tesh, I always get off really late at night, and I see your special. I've seen it twice now, the Avalon.
Yeah.
That is just really
Thanks.
electric.
Thank you.
It's really neat.
We had a good time doing it.
That's on the PBS?
Yeah.
It's, Okay.
Yeah.
It's not on the...
That's on the PBS. It's like the Jeff Hotel.
Yeah. It's great, though. I want to tell Dr. Drew and also Adam that not all your listeners are boneheads. I want you to know
No,
that-
I've never said our listeners are boneheads.
Oh,
Wow.
yes. Off the air, he says
Yeah.
it frequently. And then he nods like a madman when I'm saying it on the air.
What's up, Christy? What's
so do
happening?
I. Well,
So does Christy.
I have a sister who all my brothers and sisters and I were raised in a very mentally abusive home, and I've been married now for 3 years and have gone through some counseling. But my sister, who's 17, is pregnant. She's due in a month, and I am just really concerned about her. I don't know. I basically wanted to ask you if you could give me some advice on how to help her to get into some counseling or get some help.
So hard. It's Christy, it's something that if somebody really solves that conundrum, it will be of really unbelievable proportions. I mean, my addict patients, when they get into recovery and they finally get going and get better and start feeling better, they go, God, how come you couldn't give me that get it? How come I couldn't get it before? How come I didn't want to do it? And this one patient I coined the phrase, how can you give somebody get it? And that really summarizes what you're asking for. How do you get her to get that she needs help? And they're so defensive and so guarded and so aggressive and so angry and so unable to see this.
Well, and it's a catch-22 because the people that realize they need help and seek help aren't as far gone emotionally.
No, sometimes they're so far gone, it's that or not, or death.
They're in their 40s and they've fallen on their face 1,000 times.
That's the point.
And the wife has given them some ultimatum.
Right. There's no alternative. They have to get better, and they do. And that's a great time to treat people because they have no alternative. But how do you take a 7-year-old who's pregnant and think she knows everything? And
also, if it's a family member, if you say anything, you're immediately judging them, and they don't take that.
Or whatever craziness is in that family system will continue to be projected onto Christy.
It's ridiculous.
You
know what you could do? I know this might not be something that you're into. You could pray for her.
Oh my gosh, trust me. I'm very much into that. I've talked to her several times. And she tells me that she's spiritual also. And I think the biggest thing, as I'm sure society is as well, I'm concerned about the child.
Do you guys pray together?
My sister and I?
Yeah.
No, she's in Oregon. I'm in Utah. So
you could do it on the phone. I'm just saying, if she's into something like that, you can actually. I mean, this is dangerous for me because as a doctor.
No. Listen, I never talk about this, but I think there is ample evidence that prayer has healing properties to it.
But you can get across to her what she needs to do, I would think, through prayer, and that way maybe she's coming up with it.
And by the way, I just finished saying that I can't give somebody get it. If there are anything else that you can bring in that may get her in touch with, get her outside of herself enough to get her in touch with what she needs and get some insight, use it.
Well,
and I would say also use trusted friends of hers, preferably people her own age who have been where she is and had some recovery. That's a very effective way to reach someone like that.
I'm a atheist, but I have heard, and there has been many studies done on healing and recovery times for people in hospitals when they have a bunch of people praying for them, as opposed to like when I go down with injury and you have a lot of people cursing me.
Do you know when I listen to this show?
How does that work, by the way? Do you know? I mean, it's...
Let him finish his thought, though, John. What?
For an hour after the show every night, I pray for you. Yeah, I just want you to know. No, you know what? I've said this the last time I was here. Was it a couple years ago?
A year and a half ago.
Well, it must have been because we're at that godforsaken nap. Those people, the people we got to pray for, the television people,
the people that they affect.
But you guys are doing good work here.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah,
we get crap once in a while.
Did we finish her problem?
Well, she can't do anything.
I think we saved two suggestions. One is that she utilize a peer who is trusted, who maybe had a similar experience. Again, learning from the consequences of peers' actions is an effective way to have people assimilate information in a way that's more genuine than just learn it. And then prayer, and bringing in whatever elements in the community that she responds to, whether it be church and religious, whether it is some social group, bring it in. And take care of that child.
The moment she thinks you're judging her, though, she's going to be done.
The moment she thinks she's doing her sisterly thing, she's going to be out. So.
Right.
All right, and then I've gone through this with a lot of friends, which is sometimes there's just this period you have to get them through where they don't kill themselves or they don't end up in jail or kill anybody else. And if you can get them through that period, which with my buddies is it's going on its 20th year now, then maybe they'll smarten up eventually and get into some kind of counseling. But the idea is for them not to, destroy a school bus or something like that in the interim. All right.
But at what point do you become an enabler? Or is that a larger question?
Well, that is a huge question.
Okay.
Let's talk about it after the break.
All right. Oh, that's a good teaser. Drew and John Tesh talk about what it's like to be an enabler. You can see people looking the radio off.
Do I get to take this picture home with
Yes.
me?
No.
Man, just give me a copy.
All right, we're going to break. Hey, that's fastball, right? Yeah, I like this song. They'll be in there next Sunday. John Tesh, who was the bass player for fastball for a number of years until they threw him out for methadone abuse, is here tonight. John has himself 3 gold albums. Is Grand Passion gold yet, or?
It's actually close, yeah. It's what happened was that single with James is doing real well on the radio. So the record's been
This
out for
picture was not
3
in
weeks.
Pasadena, was it, by any chance?
What is that? Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I
you
reckon
know where that is?
I grew up on that street. It's a Red Cross building now, right?
It's right next to a school.
Yes.
Yeah, and they do a lot of.
I'm sorry.
Let me interrupt with some radio here and say that what Drew is looking at is the back of John's CD case, and there's a picture that Drew recognizes from his youth. And speaking of Drew's youth, here's a couple pictures I bet he wishes he didn't recognize.
Yeah, it does look like.
You know what? This was the Bush estate.
How old are you?
Anheuser-Busch Busch.
Don't change the subject.
Do you mind telling me how
39.
old? 39.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the 70s.
Yeah.
The 70s.
You went to school out here?
Yeah. 70s was cruel to young people, teenagers particularly. Really bad news.
Yeah, well, when I was in college, the only reason you stayed in college because if you got out,
you got drafted.
You went to Vietnam.
Yeah, that was what had just finished happening when I hit high school.
So what are you, John? I mean, you're in your early 40s?
I'm 45, yeah.
Holy mackerel.
I know. That's why I was relating to that guy who was 47 dating the 16-year-old.
Right. Can you imagine that?
Crazy?
What are you on, some kind of steroids or something?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Why?
You're praying for yourself a lot, aren't you?
I am praying for myself. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for my looks.
Jesus, 45.
Have you seen who I'm married to? I'm definitely praying for.
Connie?
Yeah. So she looks like she's 16. So
it's
perfect for me.
Is she like full-blood Italian, or what is she?
Concetta Selecchia.
Oh, yeah.
What does that mean?
That's her name.
It's a piece of ass in Italian. Yes.
You guys are a good team.
She is one fine-looking woman, and she's Drew's wife's going to get pissed, but Drew's wife is blonde and fair-skinned, although you've held up pretty good. And
Thank
Drew's
you.
wife is still a fox, but I'm saying the women with that olive skin and the darker blood coursing through them, they seem to fare a little better with the sun and the smog and all that kind of stuff. So Connie, now what is Connie doing now? Is she being a wife and a mother?
She is that. She is also a full-time actress, and she's working on this. She has a thing that would be great for your skin. I'm going to tell you. It's called, we used to call it the Connie's Miracle Cream, but now it's officially called the Celica Solution. I can get you this stuff.
Why didn't you bring some?
Well, I barely have a vial myself because they're keeping it behind closed doors.
And what is it, some kind of
She worked on it for 5 years and went to Egypt and developed all this stuff with, all these herbs and all the rest of this stuff. And they just actually shot this thing this week, and they had all these testimonials with people saying it saved their life. And they,
well, what does it do?
It actually makes you look really, really young. As far as
it's a cancer treatment.
Is it?
I'll tell you, if they
because you feel so good about yourself, you won't get cancer. That's what it is.
All right, well, bring some of that down next time.
I can tell you're interested.
Hey, if it doesn't take years off, hell, if it's a good water-soluble lubricant, I'll use it.
Oh, God.
Oh, please. It'd be like, no, I wouldn't do that out of respect for you and Connie. Oh, what a woman. What was her big series that she was on?
Several of them. Hotel was one.
Hotel.
Greatest American Hero.
Ah, yes.
Remember that one?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was, that was the blonde-haired guy.
Billy Cat.
Believe it or not.
Very good. Was the number one song, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great woman, that Connie. Bring her in next time.
I'm
As a
sure
matter of fact, you stay home.
Yeah, definitely.
Bring Connie.
Yeah.
Jordan,
Yeah. Hello?
you're 15.
Hi.
What's going on there?
Well, pretty much, I think I'm gay.
Well,
I mean,
it's going to be the name of John's next CD.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Have you had sex with a male?
yes, I have.
How old were you when that happened?
Well, I guess it started when I was about 13, and it's gone up till about the summer.
And how old was the guy?
He's a year older than me.
And was it somebody you really wanted to have sex with? I mean, you knew you were gay going in?
I really don't know what happened.
Or were you just kind of confused?
I guess so. I mean, it just kind of happened, and I mean, I really don't know how.
You know you're a gay going
Well,
in.
yeah, look, you know what I mean? It's clear that the other guy was attracted to Jordan and went after him and had a relationship and continues to have one. Jordan still seems confused that, gee, maybe I'm gay, maybe I'm not. I mean, I don't understand where that confusion's coming from. See?
Well, I'm very, sexually, I don't know, around, it scares me, because, around little kids, too.
Uh-oh. What happened to you when you were a little kid?
Nothing. Really, I mean, nothing's happened when I was little at all.
No, if you're
John, Drew's moat just got 3 feet deeper, by the way.
What do you feel around little kids?
I don't know. It's not like I feel anything. I just get this sensation type thing. It's hard to explain really. But
You mean you get sexually aroused around kids?
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I mean, only when if they're sitting on me, or if they're just walking around, it's not really that big of a deal. But
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I mean, that's quite a temptation when they're on your knee.
The most important thing is that you don't act on anything like that. If you ever come near acting on this, you can understand that that's...
Well, I kind of have a few times.
On kids?
Yeah. And not to, a maximum point, but, where I've kind of, touched them and be like, wait a minute, what am I doing?
All right, you've got to get some kind of help.
Well, I've talked to my mom about getting I haven't told her all this, but I've talked to her about getting a psychologist, and she says, "Oh, all teenagers need psychologists."
Well, you need one because you're breaking the law.
Well, tell her you need 2.
You really need one, Jordan. You got to. It's great that you want to change that.
Your mom. Oh, for Christ's sake!
Can you tell somebody at school?
No.
Well, what's he going to do? I mean, yeah, I agree. He has to do something. And the fact that he's talking about it is sort of a step in the right direction. When's the last time he did something like this?
Probably about a month ago.
And what was the extent of it?
I really just touched him in the little area, and he's 2, I think.
And whose kid was this?
Is this woman I watch? I watch her children.
Oh, jeez. Jordan, you got to take yourself away from those environments for the time being.
Like a lot of my mom's friends have children that.
Well, you've got to stay away from it. I suspect something happened to you when you were that age too, and that's why you're now acting that out.
Nothing happened to you, Jordan?
Not at all.
Not that you remember.
Drew can't accept this because...
No, I mean, I'm not saying that it can't happen, and there's people that debate whether or not, how much it is actually present when people do this sort of thing later, but you know from listening to this show, Adam,
yeah,
fairly common.
Here's some non-clinical motivation for you. You're going to be put in jail for the rest of your life, so you better knock it off. How about that?
All right.
And by the way, they treat folks, pedophiles, a little differently in prison. I hear. You're at the bottom of the pile, in other words. They know what you've done when you're in prison.
Yeah.
Don't tell me how they figure out so much crap in prison. They got heroin, they got pot, they got cigarettes, they got porn movies. They're getting like estrogen injections and stuff. What the hell goes on in prison? But they know what everyone did, and the guys that are in there for feeling up kids are on like in a special place, and they got to be watched at all times and all that kind of stuff, as opposed to guys like me who just get thrown in for killing their talk show host partners. We're actually revered as heroes. All right, Jordan, you must get help for yourself. Not only for yourself, but for everyone in your environment. You understand?
Yeah.
As far as your sexual proclivity goes, and whether you're gay or straight or bi, that's all sort of...
not as important right now.
Right. That is a secondary issue. You must get help for this issue, and then you can go on and sort of figure out which way your compass is pointing.
All right.
All right, please, Jordan.
All right, thank you very much.
All right.
Bye.
We've never had one of those calls, have we?
We have, but not right in the middle of the evolution of that disorder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he were 20 and saying that to us, we'd be outraged and calling the police. But he's a 15-year-old struggling with this now. See how different that is?
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's still the same thing.
Let me ask you a technical question. What that takes a lot of courage to make a phone call like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to me like somebody would know who he is, or he's calling out for help, obviously.
Yeah. I always wonder where all our callers get the guts to call in about these very personal issues, and then I realize I'm talking about masturbating 6-7 times a night on this thing and urinating in the sink, and I got my family right here in town. So, and I'm 33, for Christ's sake. So then I realize, hey, it may not take the guts you'd think. All right, so Jordan, please get some help. John Tesh is here, I'm here, Drew's here, and we'll all still be here after this. Look at what's happened to me. I can't believe it myself. Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. It should have been somebody else. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought. All right, see you fresh-faced punks out there. That's when TV shows had theme songs like Sanford and Son and Mannix.
That's right.
Poor guys listening to all this computer-generated crap with some prepubescent kid singing in a falsetto voice, or worse yet, the stars in the thing singing it. Like
that song would come on.
Like Alice.
That song would come on. I'd be so in love. Because Connie played this attorney.
Oh, wait a minute, John. We got to go to a 10-second break, and then you're going to tell us about
Never mind.
No.
I just got caught up in the song and everything.
10 seconds, because it's akin to me meeting my stripper girlfriend, watching her on stage. This is good. I don't mean that in an offensive way. We'll be back. We'll be back in 10 seconds.
This is Loveline on
radio station.
NRK Hammond, Portland, New Rock alternative. New Rock alternative. At 94.7 NRK.
We're all getting a little retro wood in here.
But what you're saying, Adam, is that for you had the same experience, but for you to have had it, it was a stripper in a club listening to music.
Now I got it.
Yeah, it was Poison. It wasn't who is this, Mike? Joel Scarberry. It wasn't Joel Scarberry. This song wasn't big amongst the strippers, by the way. It's mostly fog hat and poison. But the point is there's nothing more exciting than seeing a woman, whether it be on stage with a pair of panties around her head, or playing the voluptuous attorney in The Greatest American Hero, seeing her first, studying her for a little while, and then eventually meeting her. And
see, that's the power of prayer, Adam. I prayed every night that I would meet her. And it
really?
happened. There you go.
I've been doing that with Adrienne Barbeau for now going on my 27th year. And Snake Eyes.
And you went out, and rented Swamp Thing over
Oh,
over
yes.
here, right? Yeah.
Yes. I've created my own swamp over Swamp Thing. That's an old quagmire in my room. There's gators in my room. Albino gators. I got the foil on the window.
This is what your
sunlight.
John, this is what your son's listening to every night, right?
All these references are way over Gibbs' head. He's not going to make these meet. So, John, you would watch Connie on this when this show was out in, what, the late 70s? Or mid 77, 78?
It was 80s, wasn't it?
Oh, it was 80s?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember. I can't remember.
And it ran
No. Hotel was in the 80s, so it had to be the It had to be the
late
70s.
Must have ran like 77, 78, 79 or something like that.
It was a cool show.
Yeah.
It was a good show. And that was the #1 song, so it was like that show was happening.
So where were you at that point? You were. I know
was in New
you were
York.
dodging Vietnam.
Yeah,
dodging
I was on my way to Canada.
Right.
And I picked it up on the UHF transceiver.
And you watched her. You fell in love with her.
Yeah, I think most people did. Is what happened.
And what? How long then after that did you actually meet her?
Oh, we didn't meet until like I said, like 7 years ago, something like that. We met in a health club in Palm Springs. I was doing an event. She was doing an event. We were the only two people in there.
Wow.
And we bumped into each other. Yeah.
Right in the sauna.
But see, I mean, I don't know if you can relate to this, but I was never going to talk to her. I mean, way out of my league. And so I'm walking out of the thing, and she goes, "John?" And I said, "Oh, look, it's like I hadn't seen her, right?
Right.
But yeah, so I never would have talked to her.
But it certainly clicked in your head when you saw her. I mean, that you had those feelings for her way before you'd ever met her.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing more exciting. I mean, the greatest day or 10 minutes, 5 minutes of my life was when I actually coaxed my ex-stripper girlfriend. Now, I know this is the sort of North Hollywood version of what you and Connie have, but after a whole summer of going to this bar, coaxing her back to my rented room and having my way with her, that was one of the greatest experiences of my life.
Your dad must be so proud of you.
He really is.
Yeah.
My dad said to me, I said, yeah, I got a new woman. He said, and we were talking about my dad being a therapist during the break, and he said, what'd she do? I said, she's a stripper, and he started to say something, and I said, but now listen, Dad, she's college educated, she's just doing it for the money, she's very bright, she's a great sense of humor, is in no way into drugs, and she just happens to be doing this because she can make more money doing this than she could be as a receptionist at some crappy job, so on and so forth. And when I was all winded, he looked at me and he said, yes, but that means something. And I said, no, it doesn't mean anything. And that's all he would say, because he knew there was no way he was going to talk me out of this stripper. I was actually dry humping his leg while I was talking about her at the time. I was so excited about her sexually at the time. He just said about 5 times, that means something. And
you're right, this is worse than the calls. I see why they call it.
A year later, we found out that it did, in fact, mean something, Drew. Nostrapapis. Sarah.
Yeah.
You're 17.
Yeah.
You're on with John Tesh.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm going out with this guy now, and last year I wasn't going out with him, but he was going out with this girl, and he cheated on her with me. But now they're not going out, and we're together.
And he's dating somebody else now.
No. Just me and him are together.
Yeah, but he's got to be lining up his next one.
Sure, because there's a void. When you marry your mistress, that leaves a void.
Why don't you guys let her finish? She's not even finished with her story yet.
We start in with the abuse real early.
You guys already know the end of the story?
Yeah. I know the question.
All right, go ahead, Sarah.
Well, is it possible that he won't cheat on me?
Yes, it's possible.
Okay.
Yes.
How likely is it, though?
I can't give you any numbers. Our basic position is that cheaters cheat.
Okay.
And, I mean, a guy here's my best advice to you. Get him to clarify what your relationship is with him.
Well, I've asked him before.
Is it monogamous? Does he love you? Where does he see this going?
Yeah, he claims to love me and that he would never cheat on me and all this. And
don't necessarily. I mean, if he tells you something, believe it. That's about the best advice I can give you. And also believe the reality. Whatever his actions tell you, believe it.
Okay.
How old is he?
He's 18.
All right.
I mean, maybe he got out of his system. Maybe it was just her. I mean, who knows?
Well, sometimes you're with someone, they're not the right person, and you meet the right person, and it can happen. I'll afford everyone a couple of these over the course of their dating career, but when they start stringing them together, and there's a definite pattern there, and then you just become a number.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sarah, but don't go ahead and sabotage the relationship because you think he's going to sabotage it later on.
Well, I know. I mean, he tells me that he won't, and I try to believe him, but knowing that he did that already with me.
But you can't hold what brought you two together against the guy.
Normally, we're yelling at people to just at least acknowledge that potential is there because of the way he behaved before. Now you're obsessing about it.
Yeah.
So don't.
Okay.
All right, and then pick yourself some of that Connie Selk Magic Wonder Year cream. I know you're 17 and you're not showing, but you'll thank me in 20 years. I'm going to get a little plug in there. It's great.
It was subtle.
I just slide it in the back door there at the end. At TV, when they do these infomercials, they just get really good-looking people and figure out that, hey, they must know something about being really good-looking because they've been good-looking for so long. But Connie was good-looking at 3, good-looking at 13, good-looking at 23, good-looking at 33.
Yeah,
right?
But I'm telling you, this stuff works.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
But how do you have to dunk your head in it?
No, just a little
dab of
swath of it.
Really?
In the morning and evening. I'll get you the whole thing. I can tell you're interested.
I got a sense of humor.
I can, and women love that.
That's right.
I was going to say that because you must. I mean.
Oh yeah. The chicks.
That's what your dad was trying to tell you. Is that you don't need a stripper. Because
Listen, my dad, when I was 19, pulled me aside and said, "Listen, son, I know your mom, and I know myself, and I know you're going to have some difficulty with women. So here's the deal.
Because they have a therapist.
I'm going to find you a therapist.
Yeah, there we go.
She's going to be a female because you need to talk to a woman and bond, and I'm going to pay for half." And they basically just, that was it. I got about 3 years in there. It was a bitch because I was just telling someone this story and cringing. I was making $7 an hour digging footings on a construction site, and after taxes, I was probably bringing home about $45 a day. And once a week, I was heading over to the shrink and dropping a day's pay. I didn't even have car insurance. I mean, I was driving a Yugo with 3 wheels and with no insurance. I was driving like a motorcycle or something, and God, it was a lot of money back then. And it was like a whole day of digging.
I was the guy I was the tamper. You know what a tamper is?
Yeah. Pad the thing down.
Exactly. And
spray water on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you use the gas-powered ones?
Yeah. It was it's a big foot, and it goes.
Right.
So it does is tap.
I used one of those things in a hole until we all got like carbon monoxide poisoning and decided to let us out. Oh, jeez, I got to sue everybody. Make a mental note for me, Drew. Can you make a mental note for me?
Sure.
All right. And they had it wasn't the old steam-powered stampers back when.
Gas-powered. Yeah.
All right. You did that for 5 minutes though, and then you got on your modeling career. So I don't feel sorry for you. Toby, I did that crap for 13 years. Toby, you're 14.
Yeah, I want to dye my hair and pierce my nose, but I have to go to court in 2 days, and my dad didn't want me to until after court.
Can you understand his logic there?
Not really, because I still have to go to court after that.
Right, in the middle of some kind of custody battle or something?
Actually, it's more along the lines of theft charges.
Yeah. Do you want to go to jail?
No.
Why don't you give it a nice, brush up and appear the way they want you to appear when you go to court?
Well, I've already been to a juvenile detention center once.
Do you want to go back?
No.
Okay, why don't you just clean up and keep it together long enough to present yourself to the court?
Could you go ahead and do that?
I believe that you can keep. I mean, you don't have to express your antisocial fury quite so impulsively.
You make a good point. You know what really works in these cases, and we do this as us old people do this. You make a list. On the left side is the stuff, is the pros, and on the right side is the cons. And when the con is going to jail, and then you just cross out all the left side stuff.
Actually, you become a con. Yeah, actually.
I mean, the court is not going. The judge is not going to give a damn about you or your statements. He's just going to look at you and send you where you need to go. And just stay out of jail.
And by the way, if I was up on the bench, that would be 100% of my decision making would be based on appearance.
Well, if you can't even contain your impulses to the
Ted
point
Bundy would go free.
Well, to get it together to appear in court, imagine what else you're going to do in the face of other social boundaries.
Yeah. Also, you have to imagine that the judge has a kid who probably has a ring in his nose and in his tongue, and he's very angry anyway. So.
Hey, I watch these like People's Court or Judge Judy or whatever. These people are on TV and in court, and the guy's wearing a making bacon sweatshirt, a couple of pigs getting it on, and he's like, he's cracked himself a beer, and he's sitting there like scratching himself. I'm thinking to myself, you can't pull it together for 15 minutes? You don't know someone who could lend you an effing sport coat? You're on TV and in court. You can't put on a clip-on. It is so pathetic. I would just deem these people mentally incompetent and lock them up for as long as the law would allow.
But Dr. Judy, because she has a piece of the show, is thinking this is great television.
Judge Judy.
Yeah,
Judge Judy. Dr. Judy. Oh, Dr. Judy's the other one. Sorry.
That's Drew's nemesis. Hey, one of my friends was on People's Court once. Snake was on there. It was
Snake, the guy that works at your house?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you got a whole staff that's running around finding this music. That's amazing. Are you raiding Casey Kasem's stash? Is that what the deal is?
Just Engineer Mike. It's a certain kind of genius. Oh, it's too bad he's not that way with women. Could you imagine?
Wes.
Hello.
You're 17.
Yeah.
Mike, we got to get you a date. Have you been dating at all, Mike? No. It's been a while, right? Since that chick who hauled gravel dumped you?
Made him get a vasectomy?
Oh, that's right.
You got that.
He did that on his own.
No.
He's doing the same thing I'm doing, though. He's got the facial hair thing, trying to look cool.
No, it works. It works on you.
No, you look cool. You actually do look cool. I just look like a guy who used to be on television who's trying to look cool. Oh, no. That's it. All right.
I bet you miss that Mary Hart every day.
I do.
Oh, yeah, me too. Is she still on? No, everyone's tired of her. Wes.
Hello.
You're 17.
What's the
going
deal?
Yeah, I need to know some ways on how to quit smoking pot.
Go to MA.
MA.
Marijuana Anonymous.
Is there like any other things you can do besides that?
You will not stop unless you. If you're really addicted to pot, it's a very serious form of addiction.
Are there any techniques that you are aware of that involve not quitting smoking pot while you're quitting smoking
exactly,
pot?
that's what he's asking, basically. And actually there are. Most people use it. It's switching to speed or alcohol.
Oh, okay.
And that's what usually happens to the marijuana addicts that stop smoking or get so frustrated with the fact that it stops working, they switch to something else.
How much different is that than quitting alcohol or like nicotine?
Marijuana addiction occurs in only a small percentage of addictively prone individuals, and it's alcoholics primarily, and it is severely addictive. I mean, these people cannot stop. And if they do stop, they have extreme depressions and a lot of difficulty managing their feelings and eventually go back to something. And so if you don't go to some form of treatment, if you don't change the process, there's really no way to manage without some form of drug. It's just not realistic.
But where do you find MA? I mean,
they're everywhere. They're all over the place. Yeah. Just to call AA locally, they'll give you a referral to MA if you can't find an MA.
Where are you at, Wes?
And there, by the way, Wes, there is a detox from marijuana. I mean, I use Ativan typically when I'm detoxing people from marijuana, and it can be very uncomfortable for about 5 days.
What's Ativan do?
It suppresses the withdrawal syndrome somewhat.
Could you bring some samples for me?
I knew that was coming. I can see it.
Trying to detox. We're going out on the road, Drew, and that's a long 3 days. It's you, no drugs. It's going to be horrible.
This is a classic enabling. How how tempting it is for me to just have you sedated.
Hey,
So-
Drew, you already scored. I
Cart
brought
you
him with
around.
me.
Do you guys sit next to each other when you travel on the plane to a different city?
Yeah, but what
Oh,
a
yeah.
nice idea, though. Think about that. We should,
Yeah, like if you could. They
but
put
you know, we
in,
both
like,
sit next to.
Yeah, well, not only do we get next to each, well, it's if there's three across, it's me, Drew, and a pro wrestler, and then the bulkhead right behind us, and we just sit there. And Drew, what are you, 6 foot, 6'1"? I'm 6'2", and we just jockey for elbow space.
But you can sort of hide behind them, not hide, but you're anonymous and they're anonymous when you're doing this. When you're in person, you get to see these people, and are the questions
The same. It's shocking. Not only are they the same, they get up. Imagine you're in school, stand up in front of 3,000 of your peers at school, and ask the same questions. Unreal.
Yeah, we're talking about these lecture tours that Drew and I do. Val,
Hello?
you're 16.
Yeah, I got my tongue pierced about 2 months ago, and I did everything I was supposed to. I rinsed it, and after everything I ate, and all my lymph nodes are swollen, and there's all this white stuff all on the bottom, and I did everything I was supposed to. I was wondering why it's still doing that.
And this is 2 months ago?
Yeah.
It's infected. I've seen tongues get infected. It can be pretty nasty.
Can I do anything for it, or do I just have to take it out?
You should call the place that did the piercing.
Uh-huh.
Did you use all the mouthwashes they recommend?
Yeah.
Are you still using them?
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like you need to be on some antibiotics, some rather strong antibiotics. Any infections of the head and neck can be very serious, so please get it looked into right away. I suspect the stud will need to come out.
Now feel free to go ahead and pull that out after, let's say, the first 6 or 7 weeks of severe infection.
What will happen if I don't? Will it?
The infection can become a head and neck infection can kill
They're
people
going to
easily.
bury you with a barbell in your tongue.
Oh, okay.
I mean, but it depends what's going on here. I mean, if you really get it going, it can be terrible.
Oh, and I'm a big John Tesh fan.
You are?
Oh,
Thanks.
yeah.
Well, here he is.
Hello.
You
you go to the doctor. I need everyone I can get.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
All right, Val. Well, and that was the only John Tesh fan with a tongue piercing. I can tell you that right now.
Not necessarily.
What?
You know, there's one of the associate
shut up,
producers
Drew. What are
on
you talking about?
Conan O'Brien has her tongue pierced, and
oh, really?
Yeah,
I'm saying
with,
that
a giant ball bearing thing.
But that 16-year-old, that's a new generation coming in, guys, and they're into different things than. Who knows how they're going?
Oh, what about your kid? Gib is what, 16?
Yeah.
Is he wanting to get into some weird stuff? Tattoos, piercings?
No, he's in a rock band, a really good rock band. Actually, I was like, I was stunned, not because he's not a great player. He's a fantastic player, but these guys had rehearsed for like a couple of weeks, and then I heard him live at this club called Dizzy Debbie's. And they were like, there were like 3 bands that played that last night, at that night, and they were all fantastic. And they're doing great
what's
stuff.
he play?
He plays keyboards. He also plays drums. But I mean, they had kids in there that were like, they'll do like a Zeppelin tune or a Hendrix tune or something like that, and then they'll do a couple of originals. And
Always cracks me up when there's some like 13-year-old going, woman, you left me one too many times, and it's like they're doing some blues riff or something. It's like when you'd see the Jackson 5, like on Soul Train, and Michael Jackson's like 9 years old, and he's talking about, girl, I want to love you. It's like, hold on, buddy. You don't even got pubic hair yet.
I went to this thing that they did at the Harvard Westlake School. They had this choir thing that they did, and I was thinking, oh, great, this is a high school thing. It sounded like Manhattan Transfer. It sounded better than Manhattan Transfer. These kids are like unbelievable.
Well, I think, like sports. I mean, you take a look at basketball for just 1 second. Everyone close their eyes, turn the clock back to the 50s or 60s. A bunch of guys, white kids in buzz cuts, throwing, basically shooting from between their knees. Right? Now you see these guys that are at the high school level. They're 6'8", 6'9". They're doing alley-oops and jamming.
It's the shoes.
And yeah, that eighth of an inch of rubber has really made the difference. But the point is I think this happens in the talent department as well. I think kids are getting. There's like this kid that plays the blues guitar. This blonde-haired kid I saw on the Disney Channel. I can't can't remember the name of
Yeah, I
this
know who you're
kid.
talking about, though.
Plays amazing blues guitar, and like we were talking about Leanne Rimes earlier. And then there's always been kid stars, but I mean, they're like adults now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at Drew when he was 16.
Yeah.
It's like Glenn Campbell at a eating disorder clinic as a counselor or something. I mean, look at this. This isn't a person. This is just a guy stuffed into a bad shirt. He didn't have any talent.
But what is that hairdo? Because I think I had that hairdo too. What is that? Is that there was a famous? Oh, it was Richard Carpenter.
Yeah,
from the Carpenters. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And
speaking of eating disorders,
I had the Karen Carpenter do actually the curly brown hair. All right, Drew. Can people check the internet and get this picture because it's got to be driving people nuts now? AdamandDrew.com.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
There you go. And I don't think there's any pictures of me, so go ahead and look that up. And we'll be back with more John Tesh. All right. More Loveline with the nicest guy in show business, John Tesh. And I said Drew was, but now
I've been unseated.
Yeah, I think you're out of show business.
An hour with John.
You know when you go into therapy and you feel like it's like say like 10 o'clock in the morning and for the rest of the day you feel great. I always feel that way when I'm around you. It's great.
Oh,
yeah, it's
very
cool.
Well,
nice.
thank you.
Not you. Thank Drew. Well, now that I know that your dad is a therapist, it makes me feel like you actually may know what you're doing. It's cool.
Yes. Give you and Connie a group rate.
Yeah.
Do they do that? I can't remember. You know,
bring as many people in as you can.
You know, the only thing that pissed me off about group therapy, which is something I did for like a year and a half once, was
that they're all writing books now.
Oh, you mean sitting around a bunch of people you don't know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's heavy. That's heavy.
I couldn't handle that.
It's heavy. Well, you're John Tesh. It'd be weird. It's like Adam, the construction guy. It'd be really weird hearing John going, I cry when I masturbate. And you're like, oh, wow, that's heavy, man. Seeing him on TV that night, you know. No, but it's cheaper because it's only like $30 or $40 a pop. But here's the thing where I think you get screwed is if
doesn't matter if it's 4 people or 40 people.
If you miss a session, you still got to pay even though 9 other people showed up.
Right.
And my take was like, well, why? You didn't cancel it because I understand the logic, but as long as enough people showed up to have the session anyway, I don't think I should have to pay.
It's to try to get you to make sure you come and to have value for what you're doing, value in what you're doing.
I see. Yeah, it's kind of weird. And like I was telling Drew the other night, don't give me that look, Drew. My problem is I was, 28 and had been through like 5 years of therapy, and I was sitting with kids that were like 14 going, my stepmom confiscated my skateboard, and like I have like some anger and some issues with it, and I was like, oh, Christ, kid, I'm 28, I'm living with 4 guys, and I'm making $8.50 an hour. And the only stand-up I've ever done was open mic, and I get the flashlight after 3 minutes. I don't care about you and your effing skateboard. All right. Well, thanks for that little moment.
Yeah, we all feel better now, I think.
Ariel.
Yeah.
You're 18?
Yeah.
Is it Ariel?
Yeah, it's Ariel.
All right.
What's up?
Hey.
The mermaid.
Yeah.
Adam, Dr. Drew, I love your show. I listen to it all the time.
Thank you.
My question, though, is for John. I was wondering how you got started in music and also how your son got started. I play the guitar and starting to feel confident with my playing, and I don't know where to go.
That's the whole thing, is feeling confident with your playing, because if you feel like you don't want to play for other people, then you probably won't have a good time. I know that sounds crazy, but it's that wanting to get up there and play and perform that I think is a lot of fun. There's probably some sickness there that Dr. Drew's going to tell me about, but I was always sort of a closet player, and because my dad was really rough on me. I played classical music, and he used to wake me up in the middle of the night during parties and tell me to play stuff, and if I made a mistake, he'd make me play it again. So I had performance anxiety for many years.
Holy crap.
Back into the therapy.
Did you have an eating disorder?
No. I was one of those kids who had to drink like 50 milkshakes a day just to keep my weight up, But anyway, I think, do you listen to other music and play along with it?
Yeah, you know, like a lot of different kind of music, however, not yours.
No, that's cool.
I do enjoy. I more appreciate your music than I listen to it.
And you have to have it. I understand.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the things that I was taught by jazz teachers was, you know, the reading thing is cool, and I went through all of that, but listening to putting the boombox on and playing along with it will improve your ear more than anything. In fact, even, you know, doing that with Mozart or Stravinsky or Rachmaninoff is cool. Just pick out the melodies, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
Drew, he sings a little opera. I don't know if you're aware of that, John.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. No,
I didn't know.
Do not.
Are you familiar with the blind tenor?
No.
Andre Bocelli? He's
Okay, yeah.
yeah, you should listen to that stuff.
Okay.
Ariel.
Yeah.
So just keep playing, and don't worry about sucking. I never played an instrument, but I'm equating this to comedy, which is don't worry about sucking for a little while.
But you know what else? The more you practice, the more you play guitar, the less you can ruin your life. You know what I mean?
Well, unless you get hooked on drugs, like all our guests who come in
all
here
guitar players, right?
play the guitar. But now, see, it's amazing, John, that you did not get turned off by the piano by your dad's strong arm tactics when you were younger. And see, I would think you just never want to get near a piano.
Once
you got out of the house.
I loved playing. I just never wanted to play in front of people. I used to lose the feeling in my left arm. I mean, it was amazing. I went to this guy in town here, a guy named John Hart, who saved me. And he's a therapist, and he deals with a lot of symphony players here in town who have performance anxiety. What happens with performance anxiety, and it may relate sexually too, but in music, when you're on stage, all of a sudden the worst thing happens to you, which is you lose your memory. And if you've got a classical piece or whatever to play, all you're thinking about is, okay, I'm going to get through this one bar, and then I'm not going to be able to remember anything. You start to panic, and the moment you panic on stage, you're finished.
Right.
And you know, as a performer, the same thing.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I lost feeling in my left hand once and dropped the magazine. Mike, where are you with the rim shot, please?
Kiss my ass, Adam.
All right, he's ready with that one. Robin.
Hi, you guys.
All right, get John while he's punchy.
Oh, yeah. I know my voice is going. Hi, John.
Hi.
Hi, Dr. Drew. Adam.
Yeah.
I have a problem. Well, I don't know if it's a problem or not, because I know that you've dated a stripper before.
Yes.
Anyway, we're starting a business, and this lady that has a strip place, she wants my husband to start taking pictures of the ladies over there. And I've got about 20 pounds over, you know, and I'm just wondering, do you think that the girls are gonna tease me or what have you? Because my husband says that there's no problem with me, and he wants me to go with him over there. But I'm so embarrassed because these girls are gonna have beautiful bodies, and I'm gonna be this. I feel like some kind of a.
Well, are you getting up on stage?
You know what? They've seen my picture, and she was asking me, and I told her I'm so sure I got about 20 pounds, and there's no way.
Or wait a minute.
Do you have a fax number? I'll fax you a picture right now of me, and it's just a regular picture, just a couple of days ago. But I'm just.
Okay, sure. What's the fax?
I'm really nervous.
All right, Rob. It's 310-854-4455.
4455.
55.
Hey, Robin.
Yeah.
I'm still not exactly clear on what's going on. Your husband has to go to a strip joint for some work-related thing.
No.
To
See,
take
we're
pictures.
starting a business.
A photography company.
We're making photos and what have you. Did you say it's 310 area?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to send my husband's going to fax this over to you right now.
Please,
Robin, we don't understand.
I'm still sticking with the work-related story. That's why your husband has to go to the strip place.
Right, but he wants me to go with
You're going to attend.
So you don't feel bad, so you don't feel threatened.
I'm very self-conscious
And
right
yet-
now of the way I look.
Would you rather he go by himself?
No.
Okay.
So you're going to
I
go.
don't
Do you
want-
have to get up and dance?
No, I won't. No, I'll be there, but I'll be there around the girls when he's taking the pictures.
That's fine.
And I'm just, I feel like I'm trying on all my dresses, and I just feel so self-conscious.
Do you guys have kids?
Oh, yes. We've been married 7 years. We have 2 little ones.
All right. So he's not.
If if he wasn't embarrassed of me, do you think that
He won't be embarrassed. Robin, this is all your stuff. He won't be embarrassed.
You think I'm all right? You think I'll be okay?
I think you'll be A-okay. I do.
It's hard for me to even explain. I know sounds like a lame brain, problem, for you. Adam, I'm going to go ahead after I get off. My husband's going to fax the picture. Could you just let me know?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you look fantastic right now ahead of time.
Well, no, but
wait a minute. Just came over. Thank you, producer.
Right.
Fantastic. Hey, Robin.
Yeah.
You got using some kind of birth control now?
Yeah.
You done having kids?
Yes.
All right. That's a good idea.
Okay, well, I'm going to send you.
And look, Robin, if you, I'm sure there are other sort of issues of self-worth, but if you really have issues also with how you appear physically, take command of that. Go start working out. Do it for yourself. That's all, okay?
Well, thank you, John. I'm trying, but that's what my husband tells me. But I'm just so self-conscious.
Well, look, your husband loves you. Your husband loves you. You've got 2 kids. Everything's gonna be fine. Don't worry.
Oh, Drew. Oh, the kids. Oh, the kids. Kids are like big sponges, aren't they?
Oh, yes.
No, they just suck up
everything.
They could fall into a crystal pool of Alp water. Or they could fall into the stuff that runs into the Santa Monica Bay. But either way, they're going to pick it up. Oh, John, don't you feel blessed? That's the thing about this show. You walk out feeling better about yourself than you ever did before, don't you, Drew? Drew doesn't. Drew wants to kill himself. But John, you your kids. I mean, look, everyone's got their problems. Mm-hmm. But not the kind of problems that our listeners have.
Well, I think you're right. I think everybody does have their problems.
Oh, that's really the one thing, or not the one thing, but one of the few things I've learned from doing this show and hanging out during the commercials and hanging out next to Drew, because a lot of our guests, no matter how big they are, when you leave someone in a room with a doctor, they start asking questions immediately. Mm-hmm. Like if C. Everett Koop was trapped with Drew in this room, he would immediately start complaining about pains that he's having in his lower abdomen, and they would probably get into some sort of doctor volley back and forth. But everybody has problems. It's just you can pay people to take care of them when you sell a few records. That is the message I'd like to pass along to the listeners today.
And the fact that C. Everett Koop is the only Surgeon General you've ever been able to remember in your life.
Jocelyn
Any of us.
Elders, you
got that
bastard.
Too? Wow.
Yes.
I thought it was because the name was so close to kook.
No, I remember Jocelyn because she got fired for saying it was all right to masturbate. Yeah. And remember when we were racking our brains trying to figure out who the person who succeeded Jocelyn Elders was?
No one.
They just named somebody.
Yeah, no one had, right.
So how important a gig is this if we can go 3 years without one? Or 2.5 years, or whatever the hell it was.
I thought that was Schwarzenegger for like a couple of years, too, wasn't it?
He was the minister of steroids for a number of years. Okay. All right. We'll be back with more John Tesh and more John Drew after this.
Loveline.
And Dr. Drew.
Yeah. She went from Surgeon General to... she's working at a Thrifty's in Canoga Park at the pharmacy, I think, and she's part-timer. Oh, boy. John Tesh is here, and to finish answering John's question off the air, which was, what did I talk about when I was doing construction, is, chicks, for the most part. And
but I mean, you're an erudite type guy, and you have a lot of things to say, and you're a thinker. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, when you're digging ditches on your construction job, and there's a break, what are you talking about?
Well, the problem is when you work construction, you work with a lot of a lot of Vietnam vets who are strung out on painkillers, a lot of racists, a lot of misogynists. If there were like 8 guys on the job, 6 of them would be named Tom. That's just how it worked, and you couldn't get into heady heady discussions or philosophical discussions.
You listened to talk radio, didn't you?
Yeah, I used to listen to talk radio and occasionally just get into that chick talk, except for some of the guys, like the welders, would always tell you a little more about the old lady than you needed to hear.
The welders?
Yeah, some about welding. Something about the guys that worked around flux. It must have rotted their brain or something. I don't know what it was.
Frontal lobe syndrome that de-represses impulses.
This guy had the scariest wife, and when he would tell me what he did to his wife, it was, I want to take a shower afterward. And I mean, I'm not easily offended. I don't have delicate sensibilities at all, but when Steve the welder lived out in Ontario would tell me about putting pop rocks in his wife and then polishing off like so much broma seltzer, I was spit back up that Diablo sandwich I'd pulled off the lunch truck. It was a hostile environment for relationships.
I got snot all over me.
Oh, I think it's the ultimate compliment.
Oh, God.
John ruined his sleep. Here, use here. Let me get
I'm all right. I'll just wipe it on my pants. It'll be fine.
Yeah, you know, the guys I work with, their kids didn't have names. Like Drew, when he talks about his kids, he says Douglas or Paulina. They would say the kid.
Yeah.
That was the kid.
Yeah.
Oh, the kid. The wife, the ex-wife had to pick the kid up, and then she gets the kid for the weekend, and then she wants to drop the kid off right when I'm trying to get laid with the new chick who I'm trying to have another kid with, and it's all about the kid and the ex. Kevin.
Yeah?
What's going on?
Hey.
You're 15.
Yeah?
Yeah?
I'm wondering what % of women masturbate.
At what age?
I don't know. Any age?
At 6, very few. At 15, still probably very few.
Why should he know?
Why is it important to you? What's up?
I don't know. I was just asking a friend.
There is a distinct difference between men and women there, and somehow people believe that women are taught that it's not right. They are not taught any more than men are. They just have a different mechanism there where they need sort of an emotional experience in order for it to even make sense to them. And it takes a certain amount of maturity before they learn to connect with that experience.
Well, guys get the green light with the masturbation a little more than women do, and women tend to be ostracized. You know, if you're some 16-year-old guy, you're talking about masturbating, guys cut you a little slack. If you're a woman, people tend to pick that kind of thing up and run with it. And from my experience, this is something that women stumble into a little bit later on.
Right.
And guys get into it first thing.
Because
right after the bar mitzvah.
It's just a mechanical thing that once the hormones turn on, that's it. It has to happen.
The thing I always find ironic about these conversations is that the reason 15-year-old guys like Kevin want to know about women masturbating is so that they can go home and masturbate to the image of the women masturbating, which I find ironic. But that's right, isn't it, Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd love to know some hot chick you're in the 10th grade with is going home and diddling herself, just like you're making that your major, right?
Sure.
Right. Well, it ain't happening. And if it is, they ain't talking about it. That's as much as I figured out.
Okay, thanks.
All right, but don't worry. When they get old and unattractive, that's when it starts. But then that won't fuel your masturbation. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't need to picture when your grandmom's friends diddling herself. That's not going to do anything for you. But that's the reality. Wait till it's just that interim between the first divorce and meeting getting it on with like the pool guy. That's where the big masturbation comes in. I'm going 39 to 47. Of course, those years will magically melt away if you get some of that Connie Selica cream. Oh, yes, that vanishing cream. You won't start masturbating until you're in your 80s.
Push that button, will you? This is I'm getting sick to my stomach.
Hey, Greg. Oh, boy, I got a little radio problem. Does that sound?
That's you. That's your voice.
Oh, that's
unmistakable.
Sick. Hey, Greg.
Hey.
Hey, what's up with me in the background there?
Oh, let me take care of that.
Can you turn me down, please?
There we go.
What's going on?
Hey.
How you guys doing?
Good. Let me explain what hearing my voice to myself is like. It's like when you get primped and you're on a date and you think you're looking really good the entire date, and then you stumble into the bathroom about 2 hours into the date and you notice there's like a piece of parsley that's hanging out of your nose.
It's happened to me many times.
And by the way, thank you for, I was on national TV yesterday having some stuff hanging out of my nose, which you neglected to tell me till the show was over.
Yeah,
I got to tell you guys, by the way, in all the hotel rooms I've been in watching you guys on the TV version of the show, whoever's doing the lighting, I mentioned this off there, I think, whoever is doing a great job. This show is slick looking because you could do the Howard Stern thing, which is basically put up a couple of cameras in this room, and we see the lighting in this room. But it's a different as a whole.
Kind of funny. I work for a lighting company.
You do?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they did make the show look good, and even
that's
us,
great. Even the backgrounds and everything. It's a good
those
show.
lights are not cheap.
No, they're not.
Greg?
Yes.
You got a question for John?
I got a question for Mr. John Tesh.
All right.
Hey, John, back in the 80s when the Tour de France was going on, the whole Le Mans and Bernardino thing, and you were doing the announcing in Paris, the music that was playing in the background throughout those Saturday, I guess Saturday or Sunday it was on, I forget, and the music in the background that I know is yours, is that something that you did for the Tour de France, or was it something that you produced prior to doing that?
It was a little bit of both. I was an idiot. I was in a van in the middle of France. In the middle of the night, I decided I wanted to be on television with my music. So I wrote the music on the spot, like an hour and a half worth of music every single week, and also did the announcing for this race. CBS was not paying me any money for it. They said, we don't have it in the budget. So I said, well, just let me keep the publishing on it. So we got somebody like you who would write in and say, what was that music? Can we get it? And I thought, well, why don't I try and sell it? So I took ads in bicycling and sporting magazines saying, get the music from a Tour de France.
The music is really powerful. When they're going down those hills in the Pyrenees and whatever, and it's and then they're just
very good.
They're just sailing down those, at 50 miles an hour.
He also did the Dukes of Hazzard theme, Greg. I don't know if you're
any of that stuff works for Dukes of Hazzard. Basically, I was writing music for people falling.
Well, did you give it a French flavor, like with the squeeze box?
No,
or
sometimes. But you got to remember that bike racing in France is like the whole
like
country.
Football here.
Yeah, even bigger. The whole country stops when they ride bikes.
They stand on the side of the roads and watch the riders.
But I got to tell you, if you want to be really cool with your friends, it's Tour de France, not Tour de France. Yeah, you got to say Tour de France. There you go. That's cool. And impress your friends. Say Tour de France. Well, thanks a lot.
All right, thank
Appreciate
you, John.
it, man.
All right, bye-bye.
All right.
Did you end up selling any?
I did. That's how the record company got started. I couldn't get anybody interested in releasing my albums. God knows why.
You didn't pray enough. God does know why.
And so, that's how it got started.
And see, that is so ambitious. I would never have that kind of ambition or self-assurance. I don't believe.
I didn't have any self-assurance, but I definitely was like, going for it. So.
But what happened? I mean, you always played music then. Did you give it a serious run out of college or out of high school and then fall into doing the broadcasting?
Yeah, I mean, there's millions of people out there listening who are better players than I am, who haven't had a break. I got a break getting the music on television. So
not our show, by the way. All right, we got one guy plays a cider jug with a hair lip, and that's it.
We met a guitar player tonight. Well, that's what happens is if you get a break to get your music heard by somebody, So. Right,
but you taking ads out in Two-Wheel Weekly is not really a break. That's ambition, and it's the kind of ambition that I like to reward by. Okay, I don't have anything. By plugging the CD Grand Passion. This is John Tesh's latest effort, and I know it's a little out of our demo because we tend to have people are listening to, let's say, Marilyn Manson. But here's the deal. Every CD arsenal would not be complete without something like this, and if you're going to get something like this, you might as well